Hey YouTube Nation, today we're going to be taking a look at the Milwaukee installation driver and the Ryobi screwdriver kit. We're going to look at some of the similarities, some of the differences. We're going to put them head to head, see who comes out on top. I know who I think will. I'm wondering who you might think will. Leave a comment down below with who you think's going to win before you watch any more of the video. Then we'll see how things turn out. Let's get into it. Well, for me, that's an easy one. We're not comparing apples to apples here for several reasons. Now, first of all, the Milwaukee drill driver comes in this nice cloth bag pack that's got some rigidity to it. I didn't like that. I went online and bought a 3D printed insert for this pack out that now holds my installation drill driver and all the heads and everything. So the similarities being between the two, that they both have removable heads that you can swap out. Milwaukee has 4. The Ryobi has 2 with a rubber boot, if you wanted to call that a third one. I don't. The Ryobi runs on the USB Lithium battery platform. This is only a 4-volt, 2-amp-hour batteries. The Milwaukee installation driver runs on the M12 battery platform, which is a 12-volt battery, and this you can get in 2 or 4-amp-hour batteries. I have one 4-amp-hour, several 2-amp-hours that I keep in there. So really the only thing that is similar between the two are the different heads. This is designed really as a around-the-house screwdriver for some very light tasks. This is a workhorse. This will do anything you need it or want it to do anytime you want to do it. As far as the M12 line goes, it works great. Of course, the M18 line, you're going to have things that are more powerful, specialized things as far as a drill or a driver goes. But for a combination in the M12 line, nothing can beat this. So they both work, like I said, the same way. Your different heads snap right down on. Lock into whatever position. There's a right angle, set it right angle. Here's right angle, set it at right angle. Let me grab a battery for this real quick. What I like about these 2-amp-hour batteries for the Milwaukee is that they are very small and compact. When it's in the driver, it is nice and small. Now, I will give one advantage to the Ryobi right off the bat is how it feels in the hand. The Milwaukee is very, very thick and beefy in your palm. Someone with smaller hands might really have an issue with this. I'm 6'3" and have fairly large hands, and this fills my hand and then some. You can see where my fingers are ending over here. This does have magnetic plate right here for your screws, bits, whatever you need to use. This is a 2-speed, single speed. We're gonna do a head-to-head with some screws going into a 2x10 that I've got. I'll get them started, and then we're going to see, I don't know if this will even drive a screw into the 2x10. We're going to find out. This I'm sure will, but we will run them side by side and see where they go. Alrighty, we are ready to jump right back into it. I've got 3 screws set up for each here. I've got a 3/4 inch, a 1 inch, and then the big boy at 2.5 inches. We're going to see how they do. right, so the Ryobi got the 3/4 inch, but it was struggling there under the pressure. Now let's go to the 1 inch. Had to change out my bits, going from a T15 to a T25. I do have the Milwaukee in speed 1, which is slower, but it does have more torque. Okay, the Milwaukee was faster getting it in there, but the Ryobi actually seated it deeper before it gave up than the Milwaukee did. The clutch started letting go in the Milwaukee and keeping it from bogging down. Let's try this 2.5 inch. I don't know if the Ryobi's got it, what it needs to get all the way down in there with it. We have outtakes. Give the Ryobi a little bit of a start. All right, the Milwaukee stop, the Ryobi stop. The Milwaukee, even though the clutch is going off, it is still barely moving the screw down in, so I would say it's done. So the Ryobi definitely took the screw deeper in than the Milwaukee did as far as the Milwaukee clutch letting go the first time. Once the Milwaukee clutch kicked in, it continued to drive very well for a while before it really slowed down the movement. I will say I am actually really impressed with this Ryobi, that it was able to do what it did. It almost kept up with this Milwaukee. Let's see how they do backing out. That was the 2.5 inch. Now we'll go to the 1 inch. That was totally my fault. Button got hit. Now that is one drawback I see with this Ryobi. It is very easy for my finger to hit this button when you don't want it to. Let's go to this 3/4 inch. Need to change up my bits. The Milwaukee blew away the Ryobi in that one. All right, so my takeaway from all of this. The Ryobi definitely has less power than the Milwaukee. You can hear it, you can feel it. This feels like a screwdriver. This feels like a beefy tool. Between the two, the Ryobi is very capable of holding its own, especially for what it's designed for. This is designed for around the house. It was much more of a contender against the Milwaukee than I ever expected it to be. This Ryobi is going to keep its place here in my shop. It's, well, not in the shop, it's going to remain in its place inside my house for my wife and kids to use if they need a screwdriver in there for hanging a picture or anything like that. The Milwaukee, I use this all the time in my shop. This is my everyday go-to. Very seldom do I find something that this can't handle. If I do, I end up grabbing a M12 driver or drill, depending on what I'm needing. But I do always have my 20 volt XR DeWalt tools that are hanging out also in case I need the big boys. But you know, that's just my take on the two. There are some similarities, there are some differences. They both stand up in their field and do what they advertise that they are going to do. So, hope you found this informative. If you did, hit the subscribe, like, comment, share down below. It would be greatly appreciated as I try and grow this small woodworking channel. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a comment about that too. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified when I have some new content come out, so you can heckle and laugh and joke and do whatever you need to do at the screen at me. But that's just my take on those two, and as always, have a great day.